Okay, so the Eagles are facing two injuries on the defensive side of the ball that is going to make Fangio change things up, especially with Jakorian Bennett practice window being open today. Meanwhile, Saquon Barkley said today how confident he is still in the run game. Literally, he said things are about to get scary. So much to break down, including how much under center we use this week versus the last 2 weeks combined. Plus, Kevin Petula literally said what Smitty and all the other players said about the big play, but the way Acho broke it down was crazy. These players are coaching themselves in the best plays of the season. But first,
Enjoy it. Yes, sir. But quick.
You live too.
Yeah.
You live.
And let's put them little sexy ass Kelly Green back on.
you heard him. It is Kelly Green week, and we are 4-0 in these uniforms, and we not losing this week. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and it's the Philly Talk Podcast. If you rock with our Philadelphia Eagles, do your boy a favor. Hit that like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the videos. So as we talked about, the Eagles' pass game was absolutely terrific versus the Minnesota Vikings, but the run game still struggled. Saquon Barkley joined WIP, and they straight up asked him, how does he feel physically? They also talked about the insufficient blocking, but mainly asked him, do you feel as good as you did last year?
Yeah, I really do. I feel like I'm in a great spot. I try to be optimistic. I think that's, the scary thing. We haven't really got the run game going at the level we would like, and we're 6-2. So we have so much more room to improve in so many areas, and especially in our run game. But the thing that I love the most is the 1-2 from the guys up front, the pride that they take into it. Sometimes it seems like they even have a little more pride in it than me. But when we're all aligned, and when we all continue to have belief, you just got to continue to trust it. We know they're doing a lot of crazy things and muddying up. We know that's a focal point for defenses. But at the end of the day, I'm under the impression of I know we can't bet, but I'll put my money on those guys up front every single week, and I'm going to continue to trust it. And I know we're going to figure it out. And when it do, things are going to get scary.
Good stuff.
A couple things there. First, he said we're 6-2 when we're actually 5-2. Unless our guy's super confident we gonna beat the Giants. I'm just kidding. He probably just made a mistake, even though I believe we're gonna beat the Giants. However, the big thing he said there that I loved hearing is really scary. It's going to get really scary once the run game connects with the pass game. And we've been saying all year, for that to happen, we need to be under center, play action pass, show we can throw in the middle, to the left, to the right, and that will open up run lanes for Saquon Barkley. Also, straight up, as WIP said, as other analysts have said, the Eagles' run blocking has to be better. It will help if we can stay healthy. Lane stays out there, Dickerson, Malata, Cam Jurgens. But once we hit a block or two, even with 8 or 9 in the box, Saquon Barkley faced some of that last year and was able to go the distance, big gains here and there, simply because the O-line was blocking better, giving him so much room, and all he had to do was make one man miss. I think also once the offense stops looking predictable, where, again, when you're under center, it's not automatically a run. You never know what you're going to get. This will also help the struggling offensive line and Saquon Barkley just run a lot better. And it will be really scary when you got the combined rush offense like last year with Jalen Hurts being able to sling the rock as he did versus the Minnesota Vikings. Now, of course, the last game Jalen Hurts played was his best as a passer. However, he's been low-key cooking this season when you look at how he's been taking care of the ball and everything that comes with it. John Clark said Jalen Hurts' 108.9 passer rating is the highest in Eagles history through 7 games. Hurts is the third quarterback ever with a 70% completion percentage, 11 or more passing touchdowns, and 1 or fewer interceptions through 7 games. The others are Alex Smith and Drew Brees. Good stats from Rube. Speaking of Drew Brees, he was once again on First Take criticizing the Eagles' run game this season. the offense being ranked 30th. I'm okay with him criticizing the offense, calling it vanilla if you're talking about the totality of the season. But the question was, are you still concerned about the Eagles offense after the big win versus the Vikings? And you can still talk about some of your concerns in the run game, but why are you talking about all they do is put Jalen Hurts in the shotgun, in the shotgun, in the shotgun? Maybe early on in the season, but this was the first game we low-key switched it up and went under center 19 times.
The biggest reason the Eagles beat the Vikings is found right here. Not the score, not the time, but this number. 19 plays that the Eagles ran from under center against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, it's 17 true plays when you discount the quarterback sneaks, whereas when you go to week 6, you'll see the Eagles ran 6 plays from under center. The problem, however, is if y'all remember that game, quarterback sneak, quarterback sneak, quarterback sneak, quarterback sneak. So they ran 2 plays truly from under center, and this was a play that was under center, which isn't really under center. So they really ran 1 play from under center in week 6. And when you go to week 5, the Eagles quite literally ran 1 play from under center. The reason the Eagles were able to beat the Minnesota Vikings is because after they had that long week and they were able to adjust, and you get to week 7 against the Minnesota Vikings, now you start to see 17 plays from under center, including incredible run plays, but also more than anything, setting up that bomb that we all saw to Smitty for the touchdown. When you get under center, you stress out the opposing defense because now the play action pass, it legitimately works, and you score touchdowns. All the Eagles really needed to do was diversify the offense, and now it's rolling.
I love how Acho compared it to the games we lost. I wish you would have compared it to the whole season. However, Drew Brees, you're talking about the Eagles in its totality when the question's about this week. You can still have concerns, but make sure you watch the game, my guy, because it don't look like you did. Now, before we talk about Jihaad Campbell playing more as a pass rusher due to another injury there, plus the secondary's injured too, what is Vic Fangio going to do? And will the Eagles open up the practice window for Jakorian Bennett? But that's not all. Kevin Patullo comments on the 79-yard touchdown and pretty much said it was Smitty and the players who called it. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. Brunt Workwear. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt thought that was BS. So they built tough boots that feel great from day one. No breaking in, no sore feet, because people out there doing the real work shouldn't have to choose between comfort or durability. My favorite one gotta be the Marin. I absolutely like the design of this boot, but more importantly, it is tough and comfortable. You get the best of both worlds with Brunt, and the Marin is my go-to. Seriously, y'all, the Brunt boots needed no time to break in. These things were comfortable as soon as I put them on and started to take my first couple steps. Y'all know Philly Mike is an indoor type of guy, but I promise you, if I need to get down and dirty anywhere outside for any job, Brunt boots are what I'm taking to go do what I gotta do. And did you know Brunt isn't just work boots? They offer a full range of high-performance gear built for tough jobs. Brunt was tired of workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up, so they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt when you use promo code PhillyMike at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use the code PhillyMike and you're good to go. And after you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and tell them that it's from this show. To make it easier, click the link in the description and or the pinned comment section. It should take you right there. Again, code PhillyMike. Get your Brunt workwear. And just like that, the Philadelphia Eagles announced the roster move we've been waiting for. We have opened the practice window for cornerback Jakorian Bennett and also signed guard Sua Opeta to the practice squad. Now, granted, when I said the move I was expecting, it was Jakorian Bennett, not Sua Opeta, but I understand why we'd make that move, bring it to the practice squad in case we get any other injuries on the offensive line, and he's familiar with Jeff Stoutland. However, Jakorian Bennett's window being open came at the right time because once again, Addore Jackson got hurt Sunday versus the Vikings, and Kelee Ringo had to finish the game. Yesterday, the media asked Vic Fangio about Jakorian Bennett.
Once we open up his window and get him on the practice field, see where he's at, I can answer that better, but obviously he's a guy we'll take a hard look at.
With the practice window being open today, Fangio can still take a hard look at him to determine who starts in replace of Addore Jackson, who I feel like gets hurt every other week. This is what he said about the trio.
How do you feel Addore did before he got hurt, and then Kelee when he came in?
Yeah, I thought Addore was doing fine. And Kelee did fine when he was in there. He got hit, some of the completions he's given up, not all of them, but some of them have come on tough routes. So still think he can eventually be better than he's been. His opportunities will keep coming probably, and hopefully he'll turn the corner.
Given that situation, is there a chance Jakorian can get in the mix this week?
It all depends on his health. I think if the first tell of that is if we open up his practice window.
What did he show you before he got hurt? He didn't play a ton of snaps.
Yeah, it incomplete. I just never felt like I had a good handle on what he is and what he isn't. I just don't think he played enough to answer that with definitive
conviction. That's what he said, but I accidentally cut it off. With that being said, when we got Jakorian Bennett from the Raiders, Raider fans were upset because of the potential of this kid. He had some real good film, good production with the Las Vegas Raiders. He just can't stay healthy with the Eagles and or show Fangio anything. So if he's good enough to go, then Fangio would have to decide who he's going to start, Jakorian Bennett or Kelee Ringo versus the New York Giants. That being said, the Eagles have been linked to 7 players per Jeremy Fowler. I think we're going to break that all down tomorrow. Edge rushers, tight ends, running backs, and cornerbacks. But I'm still unsure why the Eagles haven't thought about bringing in CJGJ. You just brought BG back. Go get him. I'm not saying you bench Andrew Makuba, but injuries happen and you got to be prepared for them. Also, CJGJ will be dirt cheap, and we all low-key see the inconsistencies of Andrew Makuba's game. Now, granted, he's a rookie. I do see the potential, but even Fangio said it when he was asked about the overall play.
What do you make of Makuba's season? Obviously, he's made some big plays. He's given up some big plays.
You said it.
What do you make of his season?
It's uneven. The ability is there. He's got to be more consistent.
Again, he's a rookie, so we do got to cut him some slack. However, we've seen rookies thrive under Vic Fangio. He was drafted to play, so he's going to have to step up, especially when it's tackling. You got to be a consistent tackler, and you got to pay attention to know where you're at. You can't be tripping your own players and stuff like that. But I do believe in the playmaking ability of Andrew Makuba. We just are looking to really compete. And when there's a guy like CJ just sitting there, you got to think about it. And also when you are 5-2, possibly 6-2, maybe 7-2, you have to pick up the phone during the trade deadline and exhaust all options, because a player of a certain caliber on the defensive side could really change everything for this Eagles defense. As for the Eagles pass rush situation, you're going to have to put Jihaad Campbell on the line a lot more versus the Giants than we even thought about doing versus the Vikings, simply because Azeez Ojulari is now hurt with a hamstring too. Fangio said he don't believe he's going to have him. And Nolan Smth practice window won't be open till after the bye week or during the bye week. So as of now, you got Joshua Uche, Jalen Hunt, and Patrick Johnson. 3 healthy edge rushers. You're going to have to play Jihaad Campbell there. You might even have to force BG to play against the Giants, although he said he wanted to wait until week 10, but we'll see what he's comfortable doing. We're in a sticky situation, but that's also why we drafted Jihaad Campbell. So if we were in a situation, he could drop down and help out the edge rushers. I know he did okay, according to Fangio, but we're going to need okay in this game because we saw Nakobe Dean play some good football in 45% of the snaps. So why not in a sticky situation? Hey, Jihaad, go rush the passer. Nakobe, play along Zach Bond, where you guys both shine a lot last year. Help each other out. Sometimes the edge rusher drops back in a Fangio defense. Then you'll have Jihaad Campbell playing in coverage, which we all know he thrives at. But who knows? He might come out here and get a sack or two versus the Giants, which will make this defense even more versatile. But already in his first game back, not just on the field, but off the field, you can see how important Nakobe Dean is.
It ain't too much to be said. It ain't too much to be said. Fast, physical, tough. We set the tone. We set the tone. We bringing the swag to this defense. Yeah. We setting the standard. Yeah. 60 minutes of hell for the Vikings. Yeah. Let's go. We set that. Yeah. We start that right now. Right now. Yeah. We the best in the. We're acting like, here we go. Hey, Dawg, 1, 2, 3, go!
I'm telling you, keeping Nakobe Dean, Zach Bond, and Jihaad Campbell on the field at the same time. Although I like Campbell at linebacker, use him at edge rusher while we're in this situation. Could pay off. Who knows if we unlock something from him. Lastly, before we hear from Kevin Patullo's point of view on the 79-yard touchdown, listen to Acho break it down. What Smitty and the rest of the Eagles seen and how smart they are.
Stop what you're doing and watch this, because everybody at home saw this 79-yard touchdown by Devonta Smith, the longest receiving touchdown in his career. But what you didn't see was this.
Yeah, anytime we were in that formation, they would bring the safety all the way down in the box, put the other safety on the edge. We do that.
Devonta Smith said after the game, he and his teammates advocated for that play at halftime, and Jordan Mailata said, hey, you called your shot. Well, how the hell did they advocate for it at halftime? How the hell did they know it would work? Because on the first play of the second series of the game, the Eagles come out in the same formation. And look at the safety on this play. Here's Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is like, wait a second. I got Addore Jackson with the safety in the middle of the field. First play, second series. Here's the formation Devonta Smith will later score on. Look at the safety. He's in the middle of the field. He's in between the hashes. But what happens when the Eagles come out in the formation once again? Now it's the first play, fourth series of the game. Oh, that same safety that was in the middle of the hashes? Well, now he's outside of the hashes. Devonta Smith is looking like, wait a second. If we come out in this formation again, what the hell might happen? I want you to see where the safety is lined up. Look at the safety. This safety is now outside of the hashes. So Devonta Smith, who's off the screen, is like, the cornerback guarding me has no help. What the hell's going to happen if we come out in the formation again? So here's the touchdown. Now Devonta Smith at halftime has said, hey, coach, if you come out in that formation, that extra tackle formation with A.J. Brown tight, I'm going to have Isaiah Rodgers, and the closest defender to him is going to be a safety about 33 yards away. It's just me on this corner, and this corner used to play on the Eagles, so I know I can cook them. Double move. This safety is way the hell too far away to help. And Devonta Smith, touchdown. But take a look at where the safety lined up lastly before I let you go. This safety, remember, the first play of the second series was in between the hashes. That was in the first quarter. Then the first play of the fourth series was right outside the hash. That was in the second quarter. Now Devonta Smith at halftime says, hey, if we come out in the same formation, guard, tackle, extra tackle, tight end, A.J. Brown, this safety is going to cheat. Just trust me, coach, dial it up. And that's what the hell they do. The Eagles will win the Super Bowl again because they got smart players and they got talented players. Now they just got to have the players go out there and execute. This right here, good stuff. That's good stuff.
So that play was put in on Wednesday. We put the plan together. You know, it was a play off of a play. And so the process started Wednesday with the installation. We walk through it. We go through it in practice. And then as you get closer to the game, you know, we kind of identify which plays we like going in, and there's some setup plays that lead to a play like that. And so when you go through that process, the guys know it's on their radar. And obviously that was one that potentially could go to him or to AJ. So they're both on high alert for like, hey, if this gets called, you know, this is my deal. And then, you know, what was going on early in the game was we had some formations and some plays that kind of set up the looks potentially. And what's great about our team is their football IQs are so high. So when I ask them a question like, hey, what can you run what I need you to run here, what this leverage is, the guys are really good about identifying what they're seeing and telling me. So, once we got the question asked and he answered it, then it was a matter of like, okay, can we protect this and get this done properly with what they're doing? So then you got to go to the O-line and the communication goes from there. And so all the guys are on the same page because once that play gets brought up, they know what we're trying to do. And then it's a matter of finding the proper window to get it called. And at halftime, it was one of the plays that we discussed that we're going to come up early if we get the right opportunity, and it presented itself. And that's the biggest thing that, when the guys know the plan, and that's what we kind of talk about all last week and we can continuously do, is when you know the plan and you understand it, it's easy for them to adjust and grab what we're trying to do and execute in those moments. So it's really a team thing. I mean, you can see how connected everybody is within the plan on the offense, and they understand. And so, and I know Landon talked about it too, like he knew what we were trying to do. Like everybody knows, like, hey, Kev, we talked about this, here it comes, we can protect it, let's let it fly. So it's pretty cool.
I love the open communication, but almost listening from how he explained it, it was like, bro, I wasn't going to call it unless they told me to call it. So I don't know, man. Shout out to him for having a better game, although I do think there were some 3rd and longs where Jalen and the receivers just bailed him out. Again, bad on first, bad on second. I think there were 4 third downs over 3rd and 9 or more. 4 of them with 3rd and 9 or higher. Come on, we got to be better. But we got the dub. We got to beat the Giants. Tomorrow we start breaking it down. The Giants released their kicker because he missed 2 extra points, but is okay with their defense giving up all that. I don't know. We're going to start talking about that tomorrow. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I absolutely love hearing from you. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the videos. Of course, I didn't say it. Actually, I did in the very beginning, but it is Kelly Green Day, and the Eagles are 4-0 and Kelly Green. With that being said, I go by Philly Mike. This is the Philly Talk Podcast. Until next time, you know what time it is. We out.